Okay, so in this video, we're going to demonstrate how to measure ankle dorsiflexion and plantarflexion, active range of motion using a goniometer, followed by manual muscle testing for each of those. Okay, so dorsiflexion and plantarflexion happen in the sagittal plane. The end feel for both is firm. The normal value is 0 to 20 for dorsiflexion and 0 to 50 for plantarflexion. And so the patient position is short sitting on the edge of the treatment table, and I'm going to be on the lateral side of her to take these measurements. Okay, so the alignment is the same for both. It is ideal if your patient takes her sock off. There are some people who refuse to take their sock off, in which case a black sock makes it really hard to read the go. Actually, this one has a white background.
Oh.
But in general, if you're going to be in a testing situation, it would be very kind if you're one of those people whose sock will not come off to wear a light colored sock for your classmate. Okay, so fulcrum goes over lateral malleolus, and the stationary arm is going to be lined up with the fibular head. I'm seeing a lot of people palpate too anteriorly. They're finding tibial tuberosity, they're coming out here and like, there it is, because there's a bump there. But that's like the edge of the tibial crest. Tibial tuberosity is here, you need to come all the way out here, and that's her fibular head right there. So once that is lined up, I'm gonna put a couple of fingers there. Oh, you're the one who has 0, you have like...
We'll find out. Here's hoping.
2 fingers here so it doesn't become a pivot point. And then I'm gonna say, bring your toes up toward the ceiling as high as it'll possibly go. And I should have said, this goniometer is not super easy to read. It's very interesting. Okay, so this is 90. This is where the goniometer starts. And then this is gonna be her dorsiflexion. And this is going to be her plantarflexion down in this direction. Okay. So, yeah,
I earned that one.
That's okay. So this line here is what we're lining up our moving arm with. We're making this line parallel with the lateral midline of the 5th metatarsal. So ignore, like this bump here is a cuboid. So we're ignoring everything here, and we're going from this bump to the MTP joint. And so this black line is parallel with this edge, so it might be easier to make the edge parallel. And then you would read whatever number that is. For you, it's
Still 0?
limited.
I tried.
And then it's the same exact setup for plantarflexion. So she's starting here, and then I'm gonna have you point your toes down toward the floor. And I'm making this line parallel with this one. Good. And so she has 65 of plantarflexion. Okay, so now we're gonna move into, see right where you are, we're gonna do some MMT. So I'm gonna lower this, we'll do dorsiflexion first since you're already in a sitting position. So for MMT, it looks like a nice goni, but I actually have a lot of trouble reading it.
Oh.
Should have stuck with my old school one that I always grab. Okay, so for dorsiflexion MMT, the person's still sitting on the edge of the table, and I'm on a rolling stool and I'm facing in the same direction that my patient is facing. And I'm gonna rest her leg on my leg, and it's important that her knee remain flexed. So if I had her, like, let me just demo. If I had the table too low, and I'm out here, she's almost fully extended. There are a couple of reasons, 2 main reasons that we want her knee flexed. One is we measured ankle dorsiflexion with her knee flexed 90 degrees. So we put the proximal end of the gastroc on slack so that we could get a true joint range of motion at her ankle. If we had measured her ankle dorsiflexion with the knee extended and that proximal end of the gastroc was on stretch, it really wouldn't have been a measurement of ankle range of motion, it would have been a measurement of gastroc flexibility. So if I then all of a sudden for MMT put her into a knee extended position and have her dorsiflexion, she has less than what she had in short sitting. Technically that would be not even a 3, right? Because she didn't get through her full range of motion against gravity. But that's not really a function of limited strength, that's a function of the fact that we have a biarticular muscle and I've put one end on stretch. So it skews the results, but also we also don't want to put too much tension on her sciatic nerve and its branches. Okay, that was a long explanation for why we want this position. So my stabilization, so I'm going to be trying to push her back down on this side of the leg. So my stabilization is going the opposite side of the leg where my leg is, where my thigh is, and it's proximal to the ankle joint. And so the prime mover for ankle dorsiflexion is anterior tibialis, which doesn't purely do dorsiflexion, it also does a little bit of inversion. So I mentioned that so I can help explain where I put my hand and why for my resistance. Okay, when you're ready, I'm gonna have you bring your foot up towards your face, and I'm gonna try to push you back down. Don't let me do it, stay strong. So instead of my hand being like straight across the dorsum of the foot, I'm a little bit more medial because again, anterior tibialis does dorsiflexion and a little bit of inversion. So don't let me push you down, stay strong, and there's her 4 and her 5. If she was not even a 3 and I needed to test her for gravity eliminated, I would have her lie on her left side. Good, and then I'm gonna support this leg. So now when she dorsiflexes, it's gravity eliminated. So I'm gonna have you bring your toes up towards your knee. So if she can do that, that's her 2. And if she's not moving, then I'm gonna palpate anterior tibialis tendon right in the anterior medial aspect of the ankle, right in line with the malleoli. All right, try that again. And if she can't move, but I can see or feel something happening under here, it's a 1, nothing is a 0. Okay, the one everyone loves. We're moving on to MMT for plantarflexion. So the way this is going to happen is, so we're testing your right foot. So the patient's going to stand on her right foot only, and she's going to keep 2 fingers for balance. So there's a couple things I want to talk about. With this table, it's a high-low. So for some people, like I'm not tall, so I can touch the table the entire time I'm up and down. Someone who's tall or has, shorter arms as compared to their torso or whatnot, when they come up, all of a sudden they don't have contact with the table. With a high-low, it's easy. You just make the table higher. If you're not on a high-low, then you can give them a footstool. And I would be kind and put a little towel on the footstool because everyone steps up with their dirty shoes on this thing all day long, so let's put a clean surface. That way someone who's tall, like this isn't necessary for me, but just for demonstration purposes, then their hands will always have something to balance on. So do you need this? No, we have a high-low. We can make it higher if needed. So one of the things you're checking as we go through this MMT is that they're only using their fingers for balance and not to help them push, right? Because we don't want them to be using tricep to help push their body up. So as soon as you see those white knuckles, like everything's starting to bend and you see those white knuckles, it's an indicator that they're using their fingers in the wrong way. Okay, two other things we're checking on is that they come through their full range, up and down, fully up, fully down every single time, that they don't start to lose how high they can bring themselves up onto their tippy toes. And the third thing is pace. So we want to make sure that they maintain a consistent pace. Okay, so I'm going to have you stand here at the edge of this table, and you're going to pick your left foot up off the floor. You're going to have 1 or 2 fingers here for balance. And what you're going to do is you're going to come all the way up on your tippy toes and all the way back down 25 times. So the instructions are to have the person do it 25 times. We don't tell them as many times as you can or go until I tell you to stop. We just say 25. Before you go, let's talk about the grading. So I just want to make sure that I do this the right way. So let me look at my little cheat sheet here. Okay, so if your patient can, let's see, just clear the heel from the floor, but cannot get up all the way on her tippy toes, that's a 2+ out of 5. If she can complete 1 through 9 heel raises through full range of motion without fatiguing, that's a 3 out of 5. So all of your single digits, 1 through 9, is a 3 out of 5. If she can complete 10 through 24, she earns a 4. And if she can get all the way to that 25th heel raise, then that's when she earns her 5. Okay, and then we'll talk about gravity eliminated after we're done. All right, so are you ready? Okay, so lift this foot up, and I'm gonna be watching her fingers, I'm gonna be watching her heel. With this floor, it's super easy because there are all these black specks on the floor, and so I just look at which black speck I can see when she comes all the way up in her first one, and I hope to see that every single time, if that makes sense. Okay, ready? Whenever you're ready, you're gonna come up and down 25 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. So that would be earning a grade 4. Okay, so let's talk about if someone couldn't even raise the heel up, because if they can raise the heel up, it's a 2+. But if not, we would have the person lie prone. So on your belly, please. I should have lowered that table for you. Okay. So granted, lying prone and doing plantarflexion is not gravity eliminated. It is against gravity. But this is a muscle group that is, every single step we take is pushing the weight of our entire body forward. It's propelling us forward when we walk. So even though this is not gravity eliminated, now in this position, all it has to do is lift the weight of this foot instead of the weight of the whole body. So it is significantly reduced. Okay, so I'm gonna have you bring the bottom of your foot here up to the ceiling, and if she can do that through her full range, she earns a 2. If she can do that through partial range, we call that a 2-. And if there's no motion, then we need to feel. So we've got Achilles tendon, we've got gastroc. I would say, can you try that again? And if I see or feel any activity happening in here, it's a 1. And we don't see, we don't feel anything, it's a 0.